understand it. And I think that's where this anatma, I think, concept comes so handy, because our tendency is to keep going, and we want to become something. And so in Buddha's teachings, he called this bhava, and one of the um, cravings, or the thirst that we have in life, is that be we want to be in the conditions that we prefer right now, or we want to preferred condition that we have in our mind for ongoing, whether it's this lifetime or the next lifetime. And so this kind of attitude that we have kind of creates a very I think though it creates a lot of um, behavioral issues in our life. Also, that kind of attachments really it's a this kind of habits that we create becoming it doesn't allow us to change a lot, and it doesn't give us a lot room to change. And so that kind of a scary situation, because when that happens, that when we build on that over and over and over, thinking that something is ongoing forever, that's going to exist in the world, that when changes happens, it's very hard for us. And so this was like the idea at the time in India, that Brahmans in Hindu, especially Hindu traditions, that they thought that there is something in life that n- never changing and going forever, to this there is that inside of us, and it's within next life, and it's keep going. And so the Buddha said there is nothing that we can actually uh, see something like that. And you can also think of this in terms of science too. This is very scientifical now. When you look at how the biologically how these processes works, and in physics, chemistry, and when we go to all the atomic level of uh, the things around us, um, this especially the physical structure of things, and we recognize that there is really nothing that we can hold on to forever. And it just the same concept apply to the non-physical nature too. And so that's what's the point that the Buddha is trying to teach us, because there is nothing that lasts forever. There is nothing that we can um, see in the world without changing. And so this kind of understanding ultimately help us to actually let go, and imagine the freedom that you gain from it, not having to hold on to something, not having to maintain something forever. And because it's becoming a very struggle for us, rather than walking in life in the shoes of this. It's like wearing this freedom of shoes in life, and just walking through them, and that kind of a freedom, and it's like floating in water, and without struggling, without trying to stay above the water, without trying to sink, and you just learn to float. And this kind of freedom allows us to gain that contentment, happiness. And so the life does not become such a struggle. And I think this is the biggest significance of actually understanding this idea of that there is the soul, or ongoing things in life doesn't exist. And so the implication of this whole idea also, I get it, I understand that it's also came um, from this religious evolution, however you want to see it. But I think there is a practical approach to it, and when somebody understands it, when somebody really sees um, that there is really nothing that we can truly to hold on to, and I think that give someone that uh, when things happen in life, not to struggle and to kind of realize that I am trying to pursue something that I cannot control, and that um, that freedom, I think, is what the contentment brings. That kind of thinking process, that kind of freedom brings us the happiness or the contentment or the peace that we are looking for in life. Because it's such a relief and in a spiritual standpoint, because what we are trying to stand, what we're trying to hold on to, or what we're trying to gain in life sometimes is becoming something that doesn't exist. And so uh, I I see that have a better understanding of this anatma idea, that because the anicca is that things change, and so when things change, that it creates suffering. And so hence when we understand this, everything in life is actually anatma, which is that there is nothing ongoing, and that allows us that ultimate freedom, which is, in other words, we call it enlightenment. And so that's our final goals. So that's it for for today. And so I will see you next time with another episode. Until then, you have a blessed day. Thank you.